Okay, I've finally finished the Vietnam bike trip video. This will show the rest of our trip and all the scenery in Vietnam. I'm going to narrate a little bit of the video as it goes on. This first clip is just a really close call with passing a semi-truck in the middle of a Vietnam village. As you can see, the villages are, they're not bad. It's mainly just a main street all the way through. There are a few side streets, but pretty much all the storefronts and even people's homes are right on this main street. And this will show us going through the Vietnamese jungle. Very, very green, even for being the dry season of Vietnam. That guy just doesn't even care and just passes us right on down the hill. This is still us in the jungle. This guy. That was a common sight in Vietnam, just people with a whole bunch of things strapped to the back of their scooters, trying to get to where they were trying to go. One of the best things about riding through the mountains of Vietnam were just the views. You would be up in very high altitudes, and it was kind of like a valley and ridge thing. Like there you can see a beautiful lake with mountains all around. It was a sight that I'd never seen before. The valleys and ridges kind of reminded me of West Virginia in a way, but like a very, very tropical West Virginia. Here's some more lake views.
What?
These were amazing waterfalls that River took us to. The color of the water, he was saying, was because of some sort of vegetation in the water that made it that kind of like bluish turquoise green color. And of course we had to go swimming in it. The water actually wasn't that cold for being the middle of February.
Warm? Is it?
That was just Eric testing out the waters. And as we were leaving the waterfalls, we ran into a little bit of a cattle drive. There were some local farmers herding their cattle through the streets, and we had to kind of navigate through. One thing that we realized in Vietnam is people who own cattle, just let them roam free. We would be in the middle of the village at night, and there would be just stray cattle walking right through the paths. Sitting out in the like a street front restaurant, there would be cattle just walking right by. They were tagged, of course, but really no fences to keep them in anywhere. And of course, more mountain views. Look at that. Just stunning. Whenever you tell a child to draw a picture of a mountain, that's what they draw. You know, the very jagged edges. Pointy tops. And this was the craziest part of Vietnam, was the traffic. On the roads, it was almost like there was no rules. I mean, you were supposed to drive on the right-hand side just like the US, but really the lanes didn't really matter. You'll see later on the video where we were even driving on the left side. There's really no walls for passing. Pretty much you just had to beep twice on your horn and you could do whatever you want. And all this crazy traffic and driving and speeding makes you wonder, you know, what kind of police presence was there. There was police presence, which we'll get to later on in the video, but the police in Vietnam are very, very corrupt. We had one run-in with the police for speeding, and the way we got out of it was just by paying a $1 million fine, and he let us go on our way. Again, that intersection. Chaos. This is us rolling into the city where we would be staying that evening. I think this is end of day 2. As you can see, just people riding on the sidewalks. This guy coming up here on the right, just going up the wrong side of the street. But there was some sort of weird efficiency that even though it was this chaotic, everyone seemed to be able to get to where you were trying to go to in a reasonable amount of time. Well, that is if you had a two-wheeled vehicle. If you had a car or a truck, you were done. You were stuck in traffic. Look, we were even riding up on the sidewalks just trying to bypass traffic to get to where we were trying to go. And that was perfectly okay in Vietnam. Kind of cool, actually. It still makes me laugh watching these videos. I can't believe we were riding like this on public roads. You would never get away with this in the United States. We have these guys out here directing traffic. I wish I could say they were doing an effective job. Look at this, it's just a giant cluster of scooters. And another thing in Vietnam, if you were a pedestrian trying to cross the road, you would just go and hope that everyone else would stop around you. They didn't really have, cross signals or tell you when to walk. You just walked out in the traffic and everyone would go around you. Like these fellows. Again, here we are on the left side of the street going up, trying to bypass the traffic that's on the right. There's another guy trying to direct traffic. Absolute chaos. But it was a lot of fun to ride in, I'll tell you that. This was one of the newer cities in Vietnam. I believe I was told that it was created maybe about 7 to 9 years ago. So, 9 years ago, this was nothing in Vietnam. Now it's a built-up, fairly nice city. The boulevard was actually very, very pretty. So I just thought I'd throw this little snippet in. And this is where we got caught for speeding in Vietnam. Technically, we didn't have our international driver's licenses, so we had to do a little bribe on the police, but in Vietnam that is perfectly okay because of how corrupt the police is. They probably just pocketed our money, but then again I have no evidence to support that claim. More mountain views. It's just incredible. Here's another guy with, I don't even know what those are, 2 giant storage wicker baskets. No, those are sombreros. He was transporting just huge sombreros in the back of his bike. This is one of the prettiest views we got the entire trip. The only problem is a little thing called Agent Orange from the Vietnam War is still present here, so you can't drink the water. That's the one thing we were warned of, but just look at that view. This is when we were coming down from the Central Highlands. This is us getting very, very close to the coast. You can see off to the left the ocean. One thing that I was surprised at about Vietnam is just the amazing beaches that they had. They were beautiful. Which brings us to our final day. This is us coming into Nha Trang at the very last night. Nha Trang is a very touristy kind of beach town. Stunning. I mean, everything you would want from a tropical beach town. Then here's the whole squad caught up at a traffic light, giving each other thumbs up for the final day. Jack and River were on the first motorbike, Tyler was on his own scooter on the second, and here comes Eric on the third bike, and I was fourth in line.